Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 1, Text 3. Nigama kalpa taror galitham phalam shukhamukhadam britra dravasangyutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. Translation. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad-Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadev Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, even though its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Purport, continuation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is therefore described in the Shruti Mantras, Vedic hymns, as the fountainhead of all rasas. When one associates with the Supreme Lord and exchanges one's constitutional rasa with the Lord, then the living being is actually happy. These Shruti Mantras indicate that every living being has his constitutional position, which is endowed with a particular type of rasa to be exchanged with this personality of Godhead. In the liberated condition only, this primary rasa is experienced in full. In the material existence, the rasa is experienced in the perverted form, which is temporary, and thus the rasas of the material world are exhibited in the material form of Raudra, anger, and so on. Therefore, one who attains full knowledge of these different rasas, which are the basic principles of activities, can understand the false representations of the original rasas, which are reflected in the material world. The learned scholar seeks to relish the real rasa in the spiritual form. In the beginning, he desires to become one with the Supreme. Thus, less intelligent transcendentalists cannot go beyond this conception of becoming one with the spirit whole without knowing of the different rasas. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschate Deshatharine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Nigama kalpataror galitham phalam shukhamukhadam ritadravasam yutam pibata bhagavatam rasamalayam muhuraho rasika bhuvi bhavukaha. O expert and thoughtful men, relish Srimad-Bhagavatam, the mature fruit of the desired tree of Vedic literatures. It emanated from the lips of Sri Shukadev Goswami. Therefore, this fruit has become even more tasteful, although its nectarian juice was already relishable for all, including liberated souls. Hare Krishna. So, as we mentioned yesterday, in text 3, this concept of rasa has been introduced. Previous to this verse, it was all philosophical. Tattva was being spoken. Now in this verse, they are discussing rasa, the topic of rasa. If we notice, rasa is not mentioned in Bhagavad Gita, maybe in a very basic form. Bhava, some representation. Bhava means someone has some great feeling for love, for serving. But actually this word rasa is introduced here only in Bhagavatam. It is an advanced topic. Why is it being discussed here and right in the beginning? Because it will not really be fully manifest that this topic, it will be in the 10th canto mostly, some beginning part in other cantos. And reason is that we have to see the goal, prayojan. When we take up a process, we have to see where we are going, then begin to go. begin to practice. Everyone, for example, people who are worshipping different deities, they will know some idea where they are going. From, for example, worshippers of in Madhva Sampradaya, the main deity is Sri Krishna, Krishna Matta is there. This, if I'm not mistaken, was the deity of Draupadi, was Rukmini. Anyway, it was being worshipped in Dwarka, and they're in Dwarka mode. Krishna and Rukmini Satyabhama, not Radharani, not Vrindavan. So worshippers, they are different locations in the Vaikuntha lokas. So they go to Dwarka Dham. So we know the goal, what it is. And in Gaudiya Sampradaya, it is in Krishna Leela in Vrindavan. Aradhya Bhagavan Vajesha Tanaya Tadhama Vrindavanam. So now in this third verse, discussion is on rasa. This is a high topic, but then this is the idea that performing bhakti and gradually coming to this level. Then again, when we go into the next verse and like that, it will start from the beginning, from basic level. So therefore, this is being discussed now. At yesterday, what we read, the last two sentences, it said that the spiritual exchange or rasa is fully exhibited. Now let's look at that before. Therefore, the rasas were originally exchanged between the spiritual living being and the spiritual whole, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The spiritual exchange or rasa is fully exhibited in spiritual existence between living beings and Supreme Lord. So, this concept of rasa is between the jiva and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And therefore now we see, if we understand about rasa, something strange is going on, that people are not exchanging rasa with God but with each other without going through Krishna. This is abnormal. And so therefore it won't be the same effect. It won't be that pleasing and satisfying. That's not how it should be. Originally exchanged between spiritual living being and the spiritual whole. That is what it's meant to be. That's what will be taught here. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is there. Okay, then the next one was the spiritual exchange of rasa is fully exhibited in spiritual existence between living being and Supreme Lord. So in the beginning, we may not be on the fully spiritual platform. Then it cannot manifest. And we don't speak about it at all. It's not there. We are still addicted to the material world. So there's not much that we can understand about rasa. For us, Srimad-Bhagavatam is now the main text, and say science of self-realization. That is how what we will study, absorb and follow the instructions to come to the level of transcendence. Brahma Bhuta Prasanatma. Come to that spiritual, and then Bhaktim Labate Param, then beginning to the path of bhakti, understanding that principle. Conclusion of Gita, surrender unto me. So we have to surrender to Krishna. How to do that? We have to understand Krishna, understand who we are, how to do it, why we should do it. First of all, there will be many reasons not to do it. Even for a devotee, maybe practicing long time, understanding, yes, everything understood. So surrender fully, not possible, not easy, even initiated. Reason is that still in the mind there's some hope, some desire that I will enjoy, it will be okay, I don't have to fully surrender. So all that has to be removed. All that. And how is that? That is through study of Gita and study and realization. We have to realize that knowledge. That realization comes through Mahat Sevan Dwaram Ahur Vimuktes, like practically speaking, serving Prabhupada's mission. Great personality, Mahat Sevan Dwaram Ahur Vimuktes. Service of great personalities opens the door to liberation. Mahat Sevan Dwaram Ahur Vimuktes. Dwaram, it opens the door, means to liberation. Book distribution and engaging in service in the temple. Also Diksha Guru. Diksha Guru is representing Prabhupada. Mainly Diksha Guru. He's our Diksha Guru. He comes first, then Prabhupada. So the purport continues. Where is that? Therefore, The Supreme Personality of Godhead is therefore described in the Shruti mantras as the fountainhead of all rasas. But we are saying rasa is originally exchanged between the Jiva and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is the container of rasa. I was saying, for example, in a village there may be one big pond and then so many canals coming from there, going here and there, watering the farm, everything. But we want to know, if you want water, go to the main, if source of water is that main place. So now we are getting a perverted sort of happiness because everything comes from Krishna. But that original happiness, original rasa is with Krishna. We have to go there. Where are we going? Why are we going here and there? Why are we going to the dog? Even you see, we may have there is an institution of marriage, but actually that is not source of happiness. That is duty, dharma, sanskar. But happiness won't come from there. And when one realizes that, that is the stage when they leave. That is when they realize that then that relation doesn't, I'm talking about sannyas, a vanaprastha. Until that stage, one is not qualified. But to understand that actual happiness is coming from Krishna. Krishna is the source of that happiness. Full source. And whatever other happiness source we're getting is not the direct. Go for the direct source. Go to Krishna. And no need to do anything to seek happiness. Just approach Krishna, begin to serve and practice. These things are taken care of. Happiness, liberation, depression, stress. These are like, when the sun is shining, there's no question of we have to light up everything, and this part, and this part, and that part. Everything will be lighted up. So there's no need for anything. Just we have to come to Krishna. So when one is in full, it says that the Supreme Lord, He's the fountainhead of all the rasas, all the tastes, all the spiritual experiences. He's the fountainhead. That is in Taittiriya Upanishad. Raso Vai Saha. Reservoir. Raso Vai Saha. He's the complete reservoir of all rasas. Intelligent people go to the source. Go to the source. Someone does business, then you understand. This happened in East Africa. The British started coming to Africa. They came to West Africa. British, French, Portuguese, everyone. They started coming to West Africa. Then gradually South Africa. Then they went around they came to East Africa. And when they came to East Africa, they found spices. They were so happy. Spices, amazing. So they came to East Africa, an island called Zanzibar in Tanzania. So in that island, it was called Spice Island. British came, in the beginning only Portuguese, actually no British were there. Portuguese came and they were trading spices, and Arabs came and Africans, and all together they were trading on that island. Then one day the British, Portuguese, actually someone called Vasco da Gama. He asked one Indian trader from Kutch, where are these spices coming from? India, what's that? Show me. Then he came with him together, and they first landed somewhere in Kerala. First landing point, they say, I saw that place. So intelligent people go to the source. Why should we come to the middlemen and take a cut and get a higher price, lower quality? Go to the source. So their idea is, let's go to India, that's where the spice is. So they came and actually took over the fields and the production. So we want to go to the source of the rasa, that is Krishna. Raso Vai Saha. And so one who attains Krishna, Rasam He Evayam Labdva Anandi Bhavati. Taittiriya Upanishad says that one who attains this reservoir of rasa becomes happy. And believe me, we don't know what is happiness. We don't know. Happiness is not on the material platform. People are saying, I want to be happy. Are you happy? We don't know what is happiness. Happiness is a spiritual thing, nothing to do with matter. What we are seeing in this matter, this happiness, this is some cheating, fake. But we don't know because we didn't see the real thing. Sometimes, we have a very sophisticated, advanced product, could be digital, electronic, whatever. Then someone makes a copy. And we realize, oh, this is Chinese, nothing about China, but generally, whoever made it, fake. It's fake. But what if you didn't see the original? Then you can go to places and sell that. They'll think such a good thing. They don't know what is the original, how it should be. So, yeah, in that way, many people made money in Africa because they were, importing things which were from actually copies from Southeast Asia, looking like original product, designer clothes. So now, if one did not see the original product, they'll buy that one and think this is so good, but they don't know what's the actual thing. So here, people are so much enamored by these things, bright lights, nice sounds, but there's nothing there. If you come here, yesterday we were here, it's not Saturday night, you're driving on this road, you see people are dressed up and such bright lights, very nice actually, artistic lights are flashing, people are all dressed up and nice sounds are coming. So someone might think, I have to enjoy, I have to come here, this is also nice, but actually you go there, you say there's nothing, it's empty, there's nothing there. The presentation looks so nice, and this is Maya, this is the material world. Presentation looks so good, but there's nothing there. And who knows? In the West they know now. They're so much taken into spirituality. But still in India they don't know. Still after this mad materialistic society of enjoying the body. So the full experience, when we approach Krishna, He's the fountainhead of all rasas. That is happiness. You will actually experience that happiness. When one comes in association with a kirtan or in ISKCON, some form, they may experience few drops of that happiness and come back again. Oh, what is that I tasted? We have to experience it more. So they come. When one associates with the Supreme Lord and exchanges one's constitutional rasa with the Lord, then living being is actually happy. Vastava, actual, Vastavik Anand, actual substance, Vastu, not the fake thing. So everyone has a constitutional rasa. Everyone has an original relation with Krishna. That it's actually mentioned in Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav that we have those 9 levels of bhakti. 9 levels of approaching bhakti. Bhakti is the 9th level. Adau Shraddha, next. Then? No. Yeah. Yes. Those are the 9 stages. So follow them. Very good. Follow. Okay, good. Alright, so these 9 levels are there. So what happens is after bhajan kriya, you have to take diksha. After that comes anartha nivritti, the purification. After anartha nivritti, Bhakti Saraswati Thakur said in this Bhaktisiddhanta Vaibhav, is when we get a glimpse of that rasa that we are meant to be having. The glimpse comes after anartha nivritti, not the full manifestation. And so at that point we can understand. But that's anartha nivritti. Anartha nivritti has to happen. Before that is bhajana kriya, diksha. Don't delay it. Yeah? Oh yeah, of course. Before that is sadhu sangha. So, good, alright. So, it's association with the Supreme Lord, one exchanges one's constitutional rasa, then one is actually happy. So, anybody looking for happiness? People come to temple looking for happiness. I'm going to be happy, so they come to Gita. Good, yes, that's the way. Okay, but you explain them all this. Your rasa with Krishna has to be awakened. So do bhakti. So associate with devotees. Then commit to the principles, that is bhajana kriya, diksha. Commit, follow, fixed, that is bhajana kriya. Beginning the process of bhajan properly. So actual happiness is when we come on this path. There is no other happiness in this world. Nothing. Whatever they are advertising, understand that. Many births you have taken, nothing satisfied. The Shruti mantras that indicate that every living being has his constitutional position, which is endowed with a particular type of rasa, exchange with the Lord. So in the liberated condition only, this primary rasa is experienced in full. When we are fully liberated, only then this relation awakens with Krishna and we are able to serve. Even now, even somebody still in the material world, material life is going on, but he can be there at the same time. Same time he's seeing the Leela, he's interacting. This, if you read Bhakti Ratnakar, it's given something about this state of liberation, where still we are seeing that Leela, and very high topics. We actually have to qualify, but it's come here because we are seeing where we are going. Then after that again we come to the basic, and we have to sort out the basic. Basic means Mangalarti, 16 rounds, 4 regulative principles. This will give bhakti, sadhana. This will give you the highest stage. In material existence, the rasa is experienced in a perverted form. We were saying that. In a perverted form, now we are seeing parent-child relation and so-called conjugal love between man and woman, and that is nothing but lust. Special feeling, I fell in love with that woman, somehow, why only those beautiful women people fall in love with? What is that love? And where did that love go after 10 years? Nothing to do with love, it's lust. There is no love in the material world, Prabhupada said. It's all some give and take exchange. I'll satisfy your senses, you'll satisfy mine. That is not rasa, that is lust, calm, perverted form of the actual rasa. In the spiritual world, Krishna's relation with gopis, selfless, completely selfless. So that is not, there's a perverted form of rasa being exhibited in this material world, through which people are not getting what they should, the state of the happiness they are, and so they're disturbed, constantly disturbed. Now I was saying yesterday, like someone is not a devotee, materialistic person, he's hungry and he has to continue doing his work. He knows I won't get food now for whatever reason. So he's continuing his daily activity, but his mind is on the very feeling constantly disturbed. I'm not eating. How can I be happy? And then he may get some temporary happiness, but I'm happy, yeah, but I'm not eating, I'm not happy. So similarly, everyone is disturbed because we're not in our original rasa with Krishna. But we don't know Krishna, we don't know rasa, we don't know anything. Due to our ignorance and in the past life, not wanting to know, not wanting to surrender. So that knowledge is not there. But still, that disturbance is there because of that. And so the real happiness comes with this knowledge and this engaging in this. In the material existence, rasa is experienced in a perverted form. It's temporary. Thus, rasas of the material world are exhibited in material forms like Rodra, anger, and so on. So we are advised to be in our original constitutional position, to be happy. One has to come. And everyone will have a particular relation with Krishna. In Goloka, there are different personalities and different entities like trees, river, rock, mountain, different things. But they're all conscious, they all have a relation with Krishna. Personally, they want to serve Krishna. The trees will move around, they'll walk. River will flow and chant Krishna's glories. When Krishna blows his flute, it says, moving things stop moving, and non-moving things start moving. River stops, rocks melt and move on. What is going on? They start moving. And everything is opposite. So everyone has that relation, and we are supposed to cultivate it. We were saying that this material world is something like a copy, not original form. It's not the original form. And so when one gets gyan, knowledge of this material world, the first thing that comes is vairagya. How does that come? Why? Because he's thinking there's no value in this material world. Krishna is not here, and this substance is from Krishna's inferior energy. However, he'll use it to serve Krishna, then it becomes spiritualized. He'll not give it up in that way. But he gives up, what he gives up is vairagya, that endeavor to get happiness from this material world. That is given up. He gives up. Because he gets higher knowledge that what is the value of this happiness and this endeavor that I'm doing. There's no value, there's actually no rasa. Jara rasa is a cheating, there's no rasa. It's some perverted reflection of the original. So then that vairagya comes because of jnana, knowledge, understanding this material world and the spiritual world, and that what actually I'm supposed to be there. I'm a spiritual being. So he completely leaves off, and that is that vairagya that he feels. He sees the original thing. So therefore, one who attains full knowledge of these different rasas, which are the basic principles of activities, can understand the false representation of original rasas, which are reflected in the material world. Right now we cannot see because we don't know the original. If you read Krishna book and we see it's so attractive, the pastimes. And to hear Krishna Katha itself, it just stops the cycle of birth and death. Queen Kunti prays that, this current, when you pray, when you are in a river, there's a current. Yeah, that current means a flow of the river. The stream is very strong. You can even drown, even if you're a good swimmer. Sometimes the current is underground. It's not on top. On top is like that. And a strong undercurrent, it's called. It can just drag you down. So that current is strong. And how to stop it? Now we're speaking about current of birth and death. This is a strong current. You cannot get out. When you're stuck in the river and you're flowing, you cannot get out. Someone has to throw a rope, or you have to get a branch. Even though you're a good swimmer, it's just taking you. And you have to get out quick because it's going on the waterfall. So this is the current of birth and death. And Queen Kunti prays how to stop this current. How to stop the current of birth and death. Shrinvanti gayanti grananti bhikshasha smaranti nandati tava hitam janaha. Shrinvanti gayanti grananti bhikshasha smaranti nandati tava hitam janaha taeva pashyanti achirena tavakam bhava pravaho paramam padam bhujam. She says that constantly Shrinvanti gayanti grananti abhikshasha without cessation, continuously hearing about Krishna, continuously hearing, Shrinvanti and singing, glorifying, hearing and glorifying. Shrinvanti gayanti grihananti abhikshasha smaranti nandanti tava hitam jana. And these people, they also remember, constantly remembering about you, smaranti nandanti tava hitam jana, taeva pashyanti achirena tavakam, achirena, without stopping, constantly. Bhava pravaho paramam padambujam. They stop the current, this current. So we are in this material world, so much attracted to these mundane things. How can we realize the spiritual rasa? How can we stop this cycle that I attach to material things, then I have to take birth again, then I take birth, then I see material things, again I get attracted to material forms. Then again I get sucked in. It's a current. Pravaha, that shloka says, pravaha means current. It's a strong current. We cannot get out. Bhava pravaha, the current of birth and death. So how to come out? It's saying in this shloka. Queen Kunti is saying, constantly hearing Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam means narrations in relation to Bhagavan. Hearing, chanting, remembering. Shrinvanti gayanti grananti bhikshasha smaranti nandanti tava hitam janaha. So constantly hearing. Then what happens? Then we experience that rasa. When we do, then we realize this is fake. This is not real. What am I doing? And then we regret. Why did I come here? What am I doing here? Why this existence, spiritual? And then we fully engage in spiritual activities with that knowledge. So it says here, one who attains full knowledge of the different rasas, which are basic principles of activities, can understand the false representation. The more we hear about this, we are realizing this is the good one. Then what are we doing there? What are we doing at this food stall Saturday night? What are we doing there? I should be in the BTM Hare Krishna Gita class. That is where I should be. So what we not realize till we get more and more knowledge. Then we'll give up all that rasa. And we find it's amazing, some of these boys who are not devotees like us, but they start to come and come again and again. Saturday, Sunday night, they're giving up. They're working like donkeys Monday to Friday. It's not easy, it's difficult. And they're giving up their weekend to us. Then you understand, they're serious. These are serious people. Krishna will reward. Accordingly, he'll fulfill their desire. Learned scholar seeks to relish the real rasa in the spiritual form. A learned person. For that we have to understand rasa. Where's this knowledge? Practically it's only in Gaudiya Sampradaya. Some knowledge is there here and there elsewhere. Actually in Sri Sampradaya, so much is there in the Divya Prabandham, which I read some parts. You know, in prayers of Periyalvar, Palandu beginning there, and in of course Tirupavai, and those narrations are there. There's a lot to there, but of course they are not following. Their sadhana is different. Sri Sampradaya, it's pure, it's bona fide, it's elevated, it's Vishnu. But speaking about rasa, it's fully there in Divya Prabandha, if you read. So amazing narrations. But it's not known now. That knowledge practically in Gaudiya Sampradaya is a science. Rasa Vichar. Who's Rasa Acharya? Rupa Goswami. He wrote books on this. Example? Yeah, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhakti Ras Amrita Sindhu. The nectar derived from the ocean of devotion.
Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu Bindu is also written by him.
I don't know about that book. But Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is translated as nectar derived from the ocean of devotion. Basically rasa. Bhakti Rasa. Rasa from Bhakti. And then it's very, very intricate. You have to understand the topics. Because there's something called rasavas, not mixing the rasas. In worship, I'll give you an example. In many Gaudiya temples, we see Gaur Radha Krishna, Gaur Gandharva Giridhari. Why isn't Nityananda there? In Salem, there is Gaur Radha Gokulananda. Where is Nityananda? Why isn't he there? So I heard a lecture by Maharaj. Someone asked him, and he answered that when Krishna came to Mathura, then that pastime with Kabja, after he straightened her, then she started pulling his cloth and trying to encourage him that for union. So it said that Krishna became shy. He didn't do. Why? Because Balram was there, elder brother. So Nityananda is not there. If it's the same altar you're putting Gauranga, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, then you won't put Nityananda because Krishna won't consort with Radharani. He'll not. Brother is there, elder brother. Respectful. You understand? So who doesn't? If you don't know this idea of rasa, it will not be pleasing to Krishna. Also, they made that artificial mantra. Now let me try to remember it. Bhajay Nitai Go Radhesham Japa Hare Krishna Hare Ram. So again there's something about it's rasavas because the Gaur Nitai is deity. That is in a certain rasa. And Radha Krishna is in a different rasa. So that is called rasabhas. Mixing of rasas. So therefore it's considered improper. So one has to have knowledge, this knowledge of rasa. Otherwise, you will not please Krishna. We have to please Krishna because Krishna worship is pleasing him. Anukul yena Krishna anushilanam bhakti uttama. Worshipping Krishna according to how he wants to be worshipped. Anukul, in a favorable way. So that is bhakti. And our aim is to please Krishna. So we have to understand these things. Therefore it says here, learned scholars seek to relish real rasa. Learned scholars, learned not in some mundane material topics. This is not learning. Learning means learning how to serve Krishna, how to come to Krishna. This is learning. So learned scholar seeks to relish the real rasa in the spiritual form. In the beginning, he desires to become one with the Supreme. In the beginning, he doesn't know about these things. Then, in the beginning. But thus, less intelligent transcendentalists cannot go beyond the conception of one with the spirit whole without knowing different rasas. There are different rasas. There's different experiences one can connect with Krishna. But if one doesn't have that knowledge, then like the impersonalists, they'll be saying that Krishna is impersonal, they'll be worshipping in that way, and that is not really pleasing. in Gaudiya Sampradaya, the way of worship, and like even our morning kirtan, Tulsi Kirtan, if you look at the words, it's so personalistic, wanting to serve God, coming to your board, I want to serve you practically. And because we are personalities, this appeals so much. But when that idea of Ishwar Bhav, enjoying separate from Krishna, is very strong, they deny personality, because only then can you enjoy properly. Otherwise, no, there's a supreme, I have to serve him. No, God is not a person, then you don't have to serve. If there is no person, then you can simply join him or become him or something. That Ishwar Bhav is very strong. But when the love increases, then I want to serve you as a dasya rasa. No, first it's neutrality. Increase of love means that they're just there witnessing the Leela happily. Krishna is enjoying, Shanta. Then dasya rasa, I want to come and serve practically, Supreme Personality of Godhead. I want to serve him. So I want to serve him. That is dasya rasa. Then when the love increases, then it's fraternal, sakya rasa. Because I am serving the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but there's ways I can serve him more, and that I cannot do in this way. When I am close to him, I can serve. Very close, in other ways, intimately. As a friend. More intimate than that, someone is serving as a parent, because parent takes care of everything about the child. Practically, child is fed, clothed, bathed. You cannot, and then even when the child is not there, parent is thinking about the child. Of course, in a perverted way, that is different. In Goloka, the parent rasa the parent is always thinking of Krishna, always thinking, meditating. Even Krishna is not there, she's thinking, and everything remains. So that love has increased, and more than that is conjugal love. That is it's supposed to be highest platform. So this is the topic of rasa. And again, now just to mention, because this topic came, we're discussing it, it's right here in the third part of Bhagavatam, beginning. But again, now as you go on, we'll go back to basic, and then when you come to second canto, it's all about creation, matter, earth, water, fire, air, how senses came, and then liberation. It will come. And that is very important for us. Starting, that is what we should be trying to understand. Now, some knowledge here, some of you may not understand but don't worry about it. This knowledge, Prabhupada said, this basic knowledge actually you will not get until you start to absorb Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita should be absorbed to understand the supremacy of Krishna and I am a servant. That dasya rasbhav has to be there. Because that is all pervading in bhakti. Whatever rasa is there, all pervading is that dasya. That has to come. That's given in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So we shouldn't worry too much about these topics, nor start asking deep questions. Rather, we should go deep into the Gita and absorb that, but have a knowledge of this. There's some working knowledge. And understand this is ultimately later. Now there'll be higher topics of rasa, and then some will get panic. I want to know about this, and how does Krishna and Radha and this and that, a deeper knowledge of their relation. Don't worry about that. That's Prayojan Gyan. That is manifested in the heart. It's not in Prabhupada books. Don't worry, it will come. That is given at the end. Whatever's in Prabhupada books, it's enough for us to get. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Srimad-Bhagavatam ki jai.